Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working with educational institutions and companies, helping them support their family wellbeing challenges. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing Dr. Monica. Hi, Monica. How are you?
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. How is everybody? Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself,
Of,
what you do?
of course. So I am the founder of Represented, which is a global platform. Our mission is to champion global voices, so Latinx, Black, Asian, and Brown people around the world approaches, mostly for career entrepreneurship, solopreneurs. Really, and they want to increase their influence and just progress in their career and break barriers. So we do that via our podcast. We have a very good newsletter that people seem to like a lot, which I'm very grateful for. And we also provide research-informed insights so that people get advice that is science-backed. So that's what I do. And I also teach in a business school in the UK. I'm teaching career, kind of how to plan your career and digital marketing as well. So I do a few things, but mostly I work in Represented, and I'm super passionate about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming. So you chose this title, Relationships, the Long Game, and we've got a lot of engagement and questions about this. It's a popular topic. Yeah. Can you tell us what it means and why you chose it for today?
Right. So I'm going to get a little bit academic. Okay. So I don't know if some of you have heard the term social capital. So social capital is not networking. It refers to the relationships that you accumulate across your life. And it can be in your immediate network, or it can be communities, it can be online groups. So it's all those relationships from which we can access resources. But I think it is often misinterpreted because I think most people frame it as, oh, social capital is about getting something from people, building my social capital. So what I do is, when I work with people, is I help them build their social capital, but we kind of flip the script a little bit. And at the core of my work and building relationships for the long game is that you know what value you're bringing and the principle of reciprocity. So that is what building relationships for the long game means.
Oh, wow. Wait, can you just say that? Not again, but sorry. Can you just say that? Because I don't know if I understood correctly.
Okay, go ahead. Which part is social capital?
So basically, social capital is building relationships so you can sort of help each other with your resources.
Yes. So everybody has social capital, and some of us have more than others. The good news is that you can always cultivate and grow your social capital. So basically, these are the number of relationships that you have available to you. And I think the most important concept, and this is where the long-term beneficial win-win relationships are coming, is that when you build it, if you're conscious about how everybody knows the networking person that goes and is super sleazy and is there to get, don't we? I think we all know, we've always met someone.
You can sense. You
can sense they want something from you. And what's your first feeling, Jasmine, when you meet someone like that?
You just want to get away from them as quick as possible.
So when I work with people building their social capital, I show them how to increase it by networking, but also building community, because often we confuse networking and community. So community is about having a common purpose, and networking is just meeting people for something that you want normally, or to increase your number of contacts with no clear purpose or intention. So when you build, so go on.
No, sorry. I guess I was going to say, I guess it's not like a fine line, but because we all want something, don't we? Like we're all networking for something. But how do we, I'm not like, it's not, I'm not asking for me because I don't think I'm sleazy.
Oh, you can totally apply it to you.
No, but I don't think I'm sleazy. But I just mean, like, imagine somebody, how do, like, for example, if somebody, how could you get, I can't even get my words out. I'm so sorry.
How do you not portray yourself as sleazy?
Get what you want?
Okay, so I think listening and guiding that relationship with how can I help. So be the first one to give.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I think instinctively, I've sort of, I do that now, because it's like sometimes if I think, oh, I really want somebody to help me, what I've realized now is, yeah, help somebody first. Let me see what I can do. And then it just, you create that cycle. I don't know.
Momentum. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. And I think also you give without expectation because you'll be disappointed.
I love it. Yes.
But I do know that it comes back
in a different way, but not the way that you expected. And that's why you shouldn't expect anyway, but just give and move on unattached, but knowing that you're in a positive momentum.
Yeah. So reciprocity should be your guiding principle when building relationships for, it can be for your personal, for work, or for business. But at the core, I think you should always think that it's good for you to build relationships and to increase your the number of contacts that you're with. It's good for your well-being, and you're a well-being expert, Jasmine. You should know that relationships are very important.
No, definitely. But you got to have the balance, haven't you? Because if you have, obviously, you want to have quality relationships as well. It's not just about quantity, is it? So, because you have to nurture the relationships you already have, and that takes time, doesn't it? It takes time and effort. So I think you need to have your quality relationships, but then also you want to meet new ones as well. So the quantity as well. But I think quality wins every time.
I agree. And I think always guide that, because I'm sorry to the audience, but if you expected like a hack, like, ooh, I'm not, it's not going to happen.
No quick, nothing is quick.
No,
exactly.
There is no hack. But what I can tell you is that if you have to come with value first. If you haven't figured it out yet, what is it that makes you you, and what's your purpose? And I think we've had this conversation in my podcast, Jasmine, that some people don't want to have a purpose, but probably those people are not in this event today. I think you should be very aware of your purpose. What is the value that you're bringing, and then go out there and build those relationships. Because if you don't have that, you don't know what is it that you have to give and to offer. And I wanted to add something about the giving perspective, and I think you said it somehow. It's important also to know your boundaries. You can give and give, but you have to know when to stop. Otherwise, your relationships will be affected negatively.
That's true. Because if you're a giver, you might attract takers as well. I think, like with everything in moderation, and being conscious about what you're doing as well.
Yeah. So
I mean,
there is a really good book by Adam Grant, who is an organizational psychologist. I think it's called Give and Take, and he talks about this phenomenon of work and in business, about givers, takers, and who benefits the most. So he concluded that it's the strategic givers. So the ones who just give and give is going to be detrimental. The takers eventually get taken down by everybody.
Yeah.
So it is the giver with the strategy that will ultimately be more successful.
Oh, I love that. And did he mention anything about time, or did he say it always takes time? I guess we never know how long.
Well, yeah, it takes time. I don't remember if I think it was published early 2000s, that research. But I think he does mention that, especially if you enter the organization or when you're looking for new clients, yeah, it definitely will take a period of time.
It does take time, doesn't it, to get to know people? And no, but this is brilliant. So what else? So what made you focus on this? Like, do you focus on this, and how do you benefit from this in your life, basically?
Well, thank you. That's an interesting question. Personally, because I live in the UK, but I'm originally from Mexico. So I came to do my postgraduate studies. And when you move abroad, you leave everything behind. So you rebuild your networks. And I have to tell you, it's not easy. Anybody in the audience who has moved, including you, Jasmine, you know what it's like. So I got really curious because you really assess your community, your relationships. It's the life curriculum, I call it. So I became interested, especially as a foreigner. How do you build your network? Especially if you stay on, because I came to study, but then I stayed on. So then it became evident to me that it was going to be maybe double or triple hard for me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why? Because the different language as well.
Different language, perhaps my nationality. So I didn't come with all that social capital that the people from the country already have. So I had to rebuild it. So, but the advantage is that, and I encourage people to do that, is to sit down and evaluate your network. And you have to look at demographic data, age, gender, ethnic background.
Why?
And the more diverse is your network is, the better it is for you in terms of business and career. Yeah.
Is it because it makes you more open and creative?
So this is the academic name is entrepreneurial networks. So yeah, it gives you access via people to more resources, more ideas, and more diversity.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Cognitive diversity as well. So for example, if I only hang out with people my age, middle-aged women, the diversity of ideas are going to be just of one type, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
So actively seek to get ideas from older people, just hang out with them, get the wisdom, or younger people, which is with my kids, what I do is a different perspective. Or when I teach my students their generation set, it's a completely different view of life and what they want.
Well, yeah, it just makes you more open in general and more able to receive and see. You can see more, you can receive more, you can give more. It's all, it just makes your world bigger, doesn't it, basically?
Yeah, so obviously I wanted success. I wanted to be successful as an academic and now as an entrepreneur. And it is true that resources and help comes through your network. So I had to teach myself, someone in my situation, what would you do? And then you just do it and you get better at it.
Exactly, like everything. And just before we talk about like the steps to doing this, I know you've mentioned a little bit. What did you study? What's your what did you actually study?
So I did a PhD in applied linguistics. And what I did, just in very broad terms, I compare communities between Mexico and the UK. So how people behave, how people interact, and the language they use in two different cultures.
I know it's probably a long answer, but can you tell us what you found out in a short answer?
So the UK communities are more self-promotional. So the individualistic mindset.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Mexican is more about the collective and the benefit of the group above the personal benefit.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, actually. Yeah.
That's cultural.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many reasons for that. But no, that's the whole other topic. We're going to have to get you on again and talk about that.
Different.
But,
yeah,
no, it's so interesting, the psychological perspective of it all as well. But so going back to relationships, a long game. So steps. Where do we start? What do we do to?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is to define your value. What is it that you bring?
Value. Okay.
Before you go out there and trying to
Well,
increase.
but sometimes you might find it by going out there, because
Get
the more you're around
feedback.
people, the more you learn about yourself as well.
So personally, the way I would do it is, and what I advise is define your value, go out there, test it, get feedback, tweak
Yes.
if necessary. So, I'm sure you guys have heard about ikagi, which is just the Japanese concept.
Ikigai.
Yeah, ikigai. Thank you. So you have to find the balance between what you're good at, what is needed,
what you love.
Yes, what you love.
Okay. So you can do that, find out your value, go out, do it, get the feedback. Okay, then
Step 2, assess your network. So in a table, just put some demographic parameters, like in my family, let's say my closest friends, what's their age, what's their ethnic background, what school did they go to. Start there and then expand it. I don't know, if you're in LinkedIn groups, look at the members. Do they all look the same? Do they work in the same kind of spaces, also across industry? That will give you an idea of the diversity of your network and a clear picture of how you can maybe diversify a little bit and expand for your benefit. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, you go out there and you ask, maybe you don't ask, but you go intentionally to meetings or groups. How can I help? With boundaries, obviously, because I know everyone is really busy. We all do a lot, I think.
yes.
And follow up. That, I think, is what most people, it falls through. Follow up and keep doing things. So ideally, your original value will connect with the follow up. So not just meet them, but invite, create your own opportunities. I always tell my clients and my students, don't wait to be invited. You go and invite people to whatever value you have. So if you are part of a group, invite that new person. If you want to create a new community or online group, invite the person. You have a podcast, invite that person.
Yes,
so
you're right.
That's the value.
It's so true. I mean, that's sort of what I do with my LinkedIn lives as well. I invite people to meet people, have conversations and things like that. Yeah.
So these are the 4 steps.
4 steps. Okay. Maybe we could, I don't know if you have them written down or something, but that's okay. We can post them.
I'll share it.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, in the comments. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so much to talk about with this, the relationships. And I guess the long game, does this apply to all relationships in our lives? Or is this just business?
I think in all relationships. Definitely. I think we live in a very fast world. Everyone knows that. And sometimes we lose sight of we probably just think about that person when we need something. But it has to be almost a lifestyle to have your relationships at the forefront of whatever you do. It doesn't have to be business, your personal relationships as well. How can I serve? How can I help? So it's not just that you do it because you need something. It's something that you do continuously as part of who you are.
Yeah, because if you do it when you just need something, then that's just not really going to work, is it? That's not a real relationship of trust, is it? People know that. People know if you're just contacting them when you want something, and people don't really like that, do they, in general?
No, and I think in my work, up to a point, for people, some people do that. And what I've seen in research I've read is that most people hate networking. They feel dirty. That's what the research says. But I think if you go with a true intention and service mentality, you'll probably hate it less. You will build those relationships long term.
If you go with what mentality, sorry?
Of serving. How can I help? How can I serve? What's the value I can bring?
It's so true, but with boundaries, because
yes, of course. So maybe Jasmine, you can tell us what boundaries would you give for, if you have any, for example, because you're the well-being expert and you know how important boundaries are.
I think with boundaries, I think it's quite a personal. I think it's quite a personal journey, I would say. I think you have to know, when something doesn't feel right for you, or maybe somebody's.
Sorry, my mobile fell. Gone.
Oh, I wonder what that was then. You have to, you have to know your limits in work, in friendships, in relationships. Like, you need to know your limits, and no one can really tell you that. So I think it's about knowing yourself, and when you build that relationship with yourself, you get to know, what feels right for you and what doesn't feel right for you, and then building that confidence and self-esteem to be able to communicate your boundaries as well. And again, not listening to other people. I mean, you can listen to other people's opinions and things like that, and of course ask for advice, but at the end of the day, you have to listen to yourself first, or last. Should I say last? I think, and of course there's boundaries with everything. My routine is probably different to somebody else's, but this routine works for me. We all have, I think it's something we have to figure out ourselves, but I guess talking about it can help you realize as well what works for you. But I think you just have to be careful, like when you were saying, go to network events and go there as if you're going to offering, helping other people and things like that. That's great, but imagine if you did that with everybody.
No, you can't.
You can't,
there must be introverts as well in the audience, and I think the online, you also have to do online, and some people feel more comfortable doing that, and it's full of potential as well.
Exactly. But I like what you said about having that sort of mindset shift, because actually then you're coming from a place of abundance anyway, aren't you? And not lack or scarcity. Because if you're going somewhere and you're just thinking, I want to see what I can get, or I want this, or I want that, you are probably going to give off that energy and probably repel people, because they can, like you said, they can sense it. But whereas if you go feeling, I'm complete, I've got enough to give, you're going to give off a whole different vibe, and that will probably end up bringing you to getting something anyway.
True.
Like maybe collaboration or something, because people will want to, they'll gravitate towards you because you're not needy and desperate.
And I think, of course, we all want results in whatever. It's like in dating as well. You can smell the desperation, don't you?
It's the same thing. Oh my God, this is so good. I'm so glad we're having this conversation, Monica, because it's so obvious, actually. It's so obvious. And again, it always starts with, the more complete and whole we are, the more we will attract anyway. If you feel like you're missing something, you will always be missing something, won't you? Because you'll just keep attracting people who won't fill you up anyway.
I would be curious, and because some people might disagree in terms of business relationships, and that there is clarity about why we're here. But I don't think that's the case. I think you still need that sense of wholeness.
I think so. I think it's with every part of your life, isn't it?
And patience is very important in the long game. Patience and the grit to stick to your goals. So, like I said, in the 4 steps that you can do, just don't lose sight of whatever goal you have. You have to remain very grounded, because people can tell that you're up to something. And I think when you're very confident about your value and what you can offer, you will probably reduce that vibe of desperation or wanting to get something from people. That's why it's the first step, to determine and have clarity of your value, so that you're confident about interacting with others.
Yeah. The human instinct is
Yes.
so powerful. Like we all have it. You know, it's just there, isn't it? Like we know if someone's trying too hard, or we can just sense it. We can sense it. And we often forget that because it's not spoken, is it? It's just a sense that we all have. But I was going to say something. I'm sorry, my brain is not.
No, maybe there are questions from the audience, or
yes, we've got a lot of people on Instagram. So hi everybody. If you have any questions, we're talking about relationships, the long game, please let us know. Dr. Monica is an expert in this area. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, please let us know. But no, I think it's so interesting. And before we go, because we are running out of time, what problems would you say, or challenges that we might face if we don't, stay in the long game?
Well, you will build fast relationships in which you just use each other. And I think, I don't think every relationship should be soulful and long term. There are definitely some relationships that are worth cultivating. So I think
you need to know.
You will waste more time trying to get an energy, trying to get something, and it will. I don't think it will happen, or it will happen and it will not be sustainable. So there is I think that's the main problem. Whatever you got from that person is not sustainable, and it will backfire. So sure, there are things that you just need quick interactions, and if that aligns with you and you're like-minded people, go for it. But I think you will have to spend more time and energy finding new people, new relationships.
That's interesting. But what about sometimes you can force relationships and you can keep trying and it's one-sided, and should you be forcing things? Because there's a fine line, isn't there, between working hard, nurturing that relationship, but then forcing as well.
Well, I think you're putting your focus and energy in the wrong place. So you should let go to focus on the things that will probably work, or that you need to try, because we all have limited energy and focus in one day.
Yes.
So think about yourself and your goals, and if that relationship or project is not serving you, you have to let go so you can focus and probably start again and be willing to do that. Because I think the reason why we don't let go sometimes is because you think, I have invested so much time in this person or in this business relationship. And we fail to see that the decision making should be based on what's coming. Do I have a future with this person or this business relationship? Not what has come before.
Exactly. And if you don't know, but you're forcing, then probably that's an answer as well, isn't it? If you are putting if it's not equal, then if it's one-sided, then
like you should reassess.
Amazing.
I think you should always ask, if this is the situation you're encountering, what is the value this person is bringing me? So again, reciprocity is about giving and taking, not just giving or just taking. It's mutual. So you have to ask. Always, also entering a new relationship, you should ask if this person is contributing to something in your life rather than taking from you.
Yeah, you're right. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Monica.
No
it's been
problem.
Fascinating. If you can write or put something in the comments with that information, that would be amazing. And also, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go? And how can people find you?
So, no, just the most important thing you can do is to determine your worth and your value and be confident about it. And you attract rather than chase. I know that that phrase goes around a lot, but it is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Work on attracting based on your value. And
Yep.
if people want to find out more about me or what I do, they can go to my LinkedIn, Dr. Monica Chavez, or my website, which is www.represented.site. And just drop me a line and let me know if you have any relationship problems. I love to help people with their stuff, whether it's personal or business or work situations that we all need to talk about and problem solve. Like, don't get stuck. That's what I would tell people if you have a relationship problem.
No, thank you so much, Monica. Can you put all of those links in the comments?
Of course. Yes, I will.
Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you next week.